Hello everyone, in this video I'll be walking you through a fascinating and interesting topic in biology, that is bioluminescence. Hope you all will be familiar with the topic and we'll be seeing some interesting facts about bioluminescence, how it is made and what are its uses in nature. So let's see what is bioluminescence. Bioluminescence is the emission of light by a living organism as a result of a chemical reaction known as enzyme catalyzed chemiluminescence reaction. So just remember that this whole reaction requires catalysis with the help of an enzyme. It occurs widely in marine vertebrates and invertebrates and as well as in some fungi, microorganisms and terrestrial invertebrates. Apart from these animals, there are some symbiotic organisms which are carried within the body of large bodied organisms. They also produce bioluminescence or light. And bioluminescence is a form of cold light emission. And let's see how they are distributed in the nature. Most deep sea animals produce light, so this is a phenomenon mostly occurring in most deep sea animals. Apart from that, a few terrestrial organisms also produce bioluminescence. They are fireflies and glowworms. Also, some insects, arachnids, for example, some scorpions and also some fungi produce bioluminescence. And the bioluminescence, that is the light which is emitted, is in the blue green light spectrum. And the blue green light has an advantage in marine environment. It is that the blue green light can travel farther distances. So it is very beneficial to marine organisms and they hence exhibit bioluminescence. And let's see which are the different types of luminescence. In bioluminescent organisms, there are two types of bioluminescence. The first is self-luminescence and the second is secondary luminescence. If an organism produces bioluminescence on its own, it is known as self-luminescence. Most of the bioluminescent organisms like the jellyfish, some squids, etc. produce their own luminescence. So such type of bioluminescence is known as self-luminescence. And on the other hand, some organisms are not producing luminescence on its own, but they produce light due to the association of some bacteria which are bioluminescent. The example shown here is the anglerfish, whose dorsal spine, the tip of the dorsal spine of the anglerfish, has a set of bacteria which produce light. Hence, the anglerfish exhibits secondary luminescence. And let's see how luminescence or light is produced from these organisms. So it requires a substrate that is already present in the body of an organism. It is known as luciferin. Luciferin combines with oxygen, and as I've told you earlier, this is an enzyme catalyzed chemiluminescent reaction. So the enzyme involved here is the luciferase enzyme. So luciferin, when it combines with oxygen, that leads to an oxidation reaction, and the luciferase act as a catalyst which speeds up the reaction. So when luciferin combines with oxygen, it gets oxidized into oxyluciferin, and the product of the reaction is carbon dioxide, as well as this reaction emits some light, which is shown here as H nu. So this is the whole process or the chemistry involved in production of light from bioluminescent organisms. And let's see how organisms make use of this bioluminescence, or what are the interesting facts which surrounds around bioluminescence. So first use is illumination. This lights up the area nearby the organism so that they can see their next meal a bit better. And the next use is counter illumination camouflage. The animal matches the overhead or the background illumination so that it becomes invisible. You can see in this picture there are two fishes, one without luminescence, and the other picture is shown after it has started producing bioluminescence. So when it started emitting light, it nearly becomes invisible, so it becomes invisible to predators, and this phenomenon is known as counter illumination camouflage. And the next is attraction. Attraction can be either towards a prey or for a mate. So the first one is a New Zealand cave worm. So it produces bioluminescence and it produces silken threads that are hang down like this. This will attract insect and this will capture, help the worm in capturing the insect. And the next is a familiar example, that is firefly, Fortinus genus. This produce or emit small pulses of light in order to attract the male. Normally, the females emit light from the tip of their abdomen. An example that is familiar or we see in everyday life. Next is defense. You might have heard about squids expelling ink screens or expelling ink in the surrounding water in order to escape from the predator. Just like that, there are some animals which exhibit slime filled with bioluminescence or a bioluminescent slime that creates a smoke screen so that they can escape from the predator. So here you can see a crustacean is expelling a bioluminescent slime. And the next use is warning. This is a giant green marine snail. This provides a warning that the creature concerned is unpalatable. You might have heard of this in case of coloration in frogs. That are generally there is a notion that brightly colored things are normally venomous or poisonous. So this feature, that is they produce a warning or they provide a warning to the surrounding that they are unpalatable, they are poisonous, and that phenomenon is known as aposematism. So bioluminescence also help in displaying that or providing warning to others that I am unpalatable. So this snail is actually doing that with the help of bioluminescence. And the next is communication. Communication using bioluminescence is mostly found during in the case of colonial animals. Here is a colonial tunicate, pyrosome, which produce signals. Each of the individual produce light signals. This help in coordination of the colonial activities. And the next is mimicry. We know what mimicry is. In the case of bioluminescence, bioluminescent mimicry, here you can see there are two fireflies. One belongs to the species. This one belongs to the species Forturus. This actually mimics the light emission in the case of our normal firefly that belongs to the genus Fortinus. Okay, so what Forturus does is that it mimics the light emitting pattern of the Forturus. This is done in order to attract males of the Fortinus species, that is our common firefly species, and these Forturus will capture them and eat them. The males of the Fortinus species are captured by the Forturus species by mimicking the light emitting pattern of the female Fortinus. So this is mimicry by using bioluminescence. So that's all about bioluminescence. We saw how it was produced in the body and what are the uses. Thank you for watching.